In the next example, we're going to determine the safe dosage range for a pediatric patient. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look at example 12.8 in the book. Okay, the problem says the prescriber ordered gentamicin 6 milligrams intramuscularly every 8 hours for a child who weighs 60 pounds. Okay, and so the recommended dosage is 6 to 7.5 milligrams per kilogram per day in 3 divided doses. Okay, so the first part of the question asks, what is the recommended dosage in milligrams per day? All right, and is the order safe? Okay, so since the recommended dosage range is given in milligrams per kilogram, okay, we need to convert the patient's weight from pounds to kilograms. Okay, so that's a simple calculation. So 60 pounds, and then you're going to divide that by 2.2. Okay, so let's go ahead and set it up. So multiply by 1 kilogram, okay, over 2.2 pounds. Okay, so we are essentially dividing by 2.2. So take 60 and divide it by 2.2. Okay, and let's go to round that to nearest tenth. So that 2 gets rounded up to 3, so 27.3 kilograms. Okay, this is the patient's weight. All right, and then we take the patient's weight in kilograms. And then use that to figure out the safe dosage range. Okay, so we're going to multiply by, all right, 6 milligrams per kilogram. Okay, so 27.3 times 6. Okay, it is 163.8. Okay, so 163.8 milligrams is the minimum daily dose. Okay, so we're going to do a similar calculation to get the maximum dose. Okay. So 27.3 by 7.5. Okay, let's go to round that to the nearest tenth. So 204.8 would be the maximum daily dose. Okay, so there's a couple of ways to approach this. Okay, so notice how in the order it says that we're giving 60 milligrams intramuscularly every 8 hours. Okay, and these numbers here are the minimum and maximum dose to be given daily. Okay, so we can't quite compare the amount given in the order with what we determined is the minimum and maximum daily dose. Okay, so if 60 milligrams is given every 8 hours, okay, to determine how much is given per day, right, we would take 60 milligrams, okay, multiply it by 3. So in a 24-hour period, Okay, the patient will receive 60 times 3. Okay, which is 180 milligrams. Okay, will be administered daily. Okay, according to the dose given in the order. Okay. Now, there's another way you can approach this, right? Since you know the minimum and maximum daily dose, right? It does say afterwards, right? 6 to 7.5 milligrams per kilogram in 3 divided doses. Okay. So another approach, which might be a little trickier, is that you would divide these by 3. So 163.8 divided by 3, and then 204.8 divided by 3. Okay, and then see if so after dividing these by 3, right, what that means is that you then give that every 8 hours, right? So then you would compare that to the 60 milligrams and see if the 60 milligrams is in that safe dose range. Okay, so you can kind of verify that quickly. So 163 divided by, or 163.8 divided by 3 gets 54.6. Okay, and then likewise 204.8 divided by 3 is this number here, about 68.2, 68.3. Okay, so the minimum dose to be given every 8 hours, right, would be 54.6, and likewise the maximum dose to be given every 8 hours would be 68.3. You can see that the 60 milligrams given in the order, right, every 8 hours, right, falls within that safe dose range. Okay, but this way is probably a little easier to follow, right? Since this says every 8 hours, right, you would multiply by 3, right? Since essentially you would get 60 milligrams every 8 hours. So over a 24-hour period, it means that the patient will receive 180 milligrams, okay, which is within the safe dose range. Okay, so the order, okay, is safe. Okay, since the daily dose given in the order, okay, is inside the safe dose range. Okay, so that's how you would answer part A. So this would be the recommended approach. Okay, it's not as tricky as the other approach that I just explained. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and go on to part B. Okay, and feel free to pause the video if you need to, or to go back in case you missed something. So part B says the strength on the vial is 80 milligrams per 2 milliliters. Okay, and it says determine the number of milliliters you would administer. Okay, so the amount given in the order is 60 milligrams. Okay, so we're going to take that 60 milligrams. All right, and multiply by 2 milliliters. So we're going to flip this over. So multiplied by 2 milliliters over 80 milligrams. Okay, so we have 60 times 2 divided by 80. Okay, and we get 1.5 milliliters. Okay, so that would be 1.5 milliliters every 8 hours. Okay, so we're now going to move on to the topic of intravenous medications. So you can go ahead and read this information on your own. And there's something called a volume control chamber. Okay, so to avoid fluid overload, pediatric IV medications are frequently administered using a volume control chamber, or VCC for short. And then these are some of the brand names for volume control chambers. Okay. and you have a picture of what a volume-controlled chamber looks like. Okay, so the first example we're going to do is example 12.10. Okay, and I've already copied it into the document here. So it says we have an order of this drug, okay, which is abbreviated as SMZ-TMP, 75 milligrams and 100 milliliters of D5W, IV piggyback every 6 hours. And it says the recommended dose is 6 to 10 milligrams per kilogram, okay, per day, okay, every 6 hours. Okay, it says that the child weighs 40 kilograms. Okay, so the first question is asking, is the prescribed dose safe? Okay, so I went ahead and set it up off camera, but basically we multiply the patient's weight by the low end of the dose range here, so 6 milligrams per kilogram. Okay, and a quick calculation will show you that 40 times 6 is 240. So 240 milligrams is the minimum daily dose. Okay, and likewise we can do 40 times 10 and get 400. So 400 milligrams is the maximum daily dose. Okay. Now, and the problem, the amount given in the order is 75 milligrams every 6 hours. Okay, so to make the comparison properly, right, we need to figure out how much the patient will receive in a 24-hour period. Okay, so there would be, right, 4 6-hour periods in one day, in 24 hours, right? So the patient will receive 75 milligrams 4 times in the course of 24 hours, in a 24-hour period. Okay, so quickly we can do 75 times 4. Okay, to get the amount that the patient will receive in one day. Okay, according to the order. So 75 times 4, okay, is equal to 300. So the patient will receive 300 milligrams. Okay, is the daily dose. Okay, according, okay, to the instructions, okay, given in the order. Okay, what we're checking for is if that 300 milligrams is in the safe dose range. So the answer is yes. The dose is safe. Okay, because it is in the safe dose range. Okay, and really quickly before I move on to the next part, right, how did I know to multiply by 4? Well, since it says every 6 hours, and there are 24 hours in one day, right, 24 divided by 6 is equal to 4, and that's how I knew to multiply by 4 to get the amount the patient will receive in 24 hours. Okay, so part B says to read the label in the figure. Okay, the manufacturer directions state that weight-based dosages are calculated on the TMP component. Okay, so this is a drug with 2 components, right? The SMZ and then the TMP. Okay, so when we look at the label, right, we're going to calculate the doses based on the second component. Okay, so viewing the label, we see that this is the second component of the drug, and according to the label, right, there are 16 milligrams per milliliter, okay, based on that second component. Okay, so when we calculate the number of milliliters, we're going to take the 75 milligrams, all right, and multiply by 1 milliliter over 16 milligrams. Okay, so we can quickly do this on our calculators. So we're doing 75 divided by 16. And it's going to give us a nasty decimal here. So since this is a pediatric dose, we're going to round that down instead of up. So it becomes 4.6 millim.